It's noon. Look at that.
Look at the timing on that.
That was really good timing. So this is the Ronnie and Bonnie show, and we would like to say that we think we look nice today.
We're kind of sharp. It's still chilly out, even though it's May. We had some snow and the weather's like 30-something degrees.
And frankly, I look better when the weather is cooler.
I would say so too for me. Yeah. The more clothes, the better.
Right. Well, so shall we?
Let's talk about what we're doing, discussing. You know, I would like to, first of all, if you're new to the channel, check us out, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook. And also, if you've ever got questions, you can post the comments, questions in the comments.
Yeah, that's right. You can.
At any time. You know, we may not answer live, but we'll get back to you.
Any moment right now.
Yeah.
But I found out today we're going to be on the radio next week too. So we're going to be even more famous than we already are.
We're going to be on Mountain Country next week, 8 a.m. I don't know if, oh no, it is live. So it says we got to arrive 10 minutes before your scheduled airtime. Keep it casual, but some bullet points for us are always helpful.
So I've been on taped radio shows before, but never on one that was live. And I kind of wonder if they like check out all of your other content before they let you come on live. Like, do we accidentally like burst into political rants or maybe, you know, start swearing? They have things that they have to be careful about with the people on their radio shows.
I think we should burst into political rants. Our viewership would go way up.
Or way down.
One way or the other.
One way or the other.
It's going to happen. So tell us, this was your topic this week, Bonnie Simon. Tell us what you wanted to talk about today.
Oh, well, you know what I like to talk about is what is going on in the current events of the auto world. And so things are just so like harebrained and crazy right now with the demand for used cars and the chip shortage and so I always like to talk about like how is this affecting the consumer? And that's I think that's the topic. Is that the topic? Is that what we wrote down?
It's do cars seem more expensive right now?
That's it. So I just told you why they seem more expensive.
They seem more expensive, and then the answer is this is why.
Yes.
You know, and why you go ahead, you give them your first reason why, and then I'll talk to them a little bit because I'm going to pull up some data.
But what's my first reason?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm hoping that you share it with us.
Okay, well, I'll share it with you. That so you have to know that we prepared for this one. We don't always prepare. Sometimes we're a little bit off the cuff. But this time we wanted to make it, you know, seem like we knew we were going to talk about in advance, but I forgot. So the first reason that cars seem more expensive is because they actually are more expensive. Between the pandemic and the demand. And can I tell them how many cars we have? So usually we have like 350 cars available.
350,000.
I'm sorry, 350,000 cars
in the
available.
used car market in the auction database.
Yeah, that's in the whole nation. And right now, you want to take a guess at how many are available? Like if I go out and look for a car, how many do I have to choose from in the entire country? It's 150,000, less than half than usual.
It's really rough right now. It fluctuates about 20,000 throughout the day, but it's still not anywhere near 350,000.
No, right. So if you come in, you might see, like you'll say, maybe we'll decide on a Santa Fe, and I will actually go and look, and you can see it. Then I'll look and see like how many Santa Fe's are actually available right now. And if there's only 6 or 7, it might take me a while to find you the right one.
I had a client hit me up about a Lexus LX 470, 0607, and I've researched it since then. I'll probably message her today. There's 4 of them in the country.
4?
You know, we typically don't look at vehicles that old, but that specific 2 years, I did some research, talked to some friends at Lexus. Unless you got 25, 30 grand, it's probably not going to happen. Even if the car has 150,000 miles on it, it doesn't matter. So
and I talk about this all the time, but what happened was during the pandemic, because there weren't any cars being made for a while, and we're still trying to catch up. And because a lot of people who were taking public transportation no longer wanted to take public transportation, they wanted used cars. So the market, the demand for used cars went kind of crazy. And now we got our other problem, which is the chip shortage. So this, I don't know that, like, I mean, it doesn't sound that interesting. So chip shortage, big deal. These kinds of things happen all the time, and chips aren't very interesting unless they're edible. But what's been happening is that the chip makers, the people who make the computer chips, aren't making enough for the demand for cars, and it's slowing down the production of vehicles.
And what we
New
don't,
vehicles.
what we don't know, so you fact checkers out there, what we don't know is why. You know, like
Yeah, I'm not
are they
sure.
coming out of the Malaysia or something like that? Like, will it catch back up? Is it that they can't make enough, or did they get shut down for so long that they're just so far behind?
Right. I think they're far behind, but then I believe, and I haven't read the latest in articles, but I believe there's also some material shortages.
Ugh, yeah. We're talking about microchips, guys.
Microchips, yeah, not potato chips, much to my dismay.
Yeah, we got plenty of those.
Yeah,
Um,
much to my delight.
so the people are asking us, you know, why are the prices this way?
Mhm.
And these are our understanding. This is what's going on.
Hmm.
And how long is this going to last? We don't know. I mean, I'm thinking until sometime into mid to late 22. That's just my speculation.
Yeah,
But,
Yeah.
you know, I've talked to many people in the industry, people with years of experience. And a lot of the answers I'm getting from these people is we don't know.
we don't know.
It's
Yeah.
very uncertain right now. It's not uncertain. So we're hoping you can also use the video to not do crazy stuff. So, you know, people are like, well, my trade-in's worth a lot more money. Should I do something now? It's like, okay, that's great. But think about it like a house. Like
Mhm.
if your house is worth $100,000 more right now and you can sell it for $500,000 instead of $400,000 last year, that's great if you're downsizing. So if you're downsizing to something, great. You're going to still have some challenges. It's really difficult to find a house that's less than 400 in Colorado Springs. And if you've got the patience and stuff, yeah, that's a good idea. But if you're just trying to make $100,000 on that house, my question becomes, where are you going to go?
Mhm.
If you want the same size house somewhere else in town, you might have spent $850. So what? You sold that one for 400 or 500. You still got to go spend another 6 or 7 to buy a house. And that's the same thing with used cars. So if you've got a car that's worth 15 grand and last year was worth 13, you may be lured into saying, you know what, I should take the 15. It's like, okay, great. You know, if you're going to spend 35 now, that's great. You know, but if you want to take the 15 and try and buy a car for 15 or 18, you're going to find that that's a 100,000 mile car. It's not anything. It's probably the same thing you had, and you're just going to spend more money. So you could look at maybe just refinancing your car right now if you're trying to change your position, if you still owe money on it.
Yeah, that's true. That is something you can do. Interest rates are still really low.
They're super low.
Mhm.
But it's not the time to go out and think you're going to buy a good used car for a steal just because you're getting so much money for your trade-in.
No, yeah, we had this discussion yesterday about a vehicle that I own, that I have this like ancient, 2001 Blazer that leaks oil, and it's like I lend it out a lot. Basically,
Yeah.
I use it to like haul straw for my chickens, but I lend it out a lot. And I said to Ronnie, I'm like, I may sell this thing. I probably could get $3,000 or $5,000 for it. And he said, okay, but you better think long and hard because you're not going to be able to find another one.
No.
I think that's probably true. How am I going to get straw for my chickens?
Yeah.
I will ask the opinion of the chickens before I make a decision.
So here's a good opportunity for people. Let's say you're in a car that you paid off a couple of years ago and you don't have any payments, and your car's getting older. And you're thinking in your mind that at some point I might have to do something, but I don't want to do it right now necessarily. It is a time for you to review that and look at it, because your vehicle is worth more now than it's ever been worth in the history of mankind. I mean, that's a fact. So
Okay.
like,
So do you mean that it's worth more than it was new? I mean, that is
Not-
part of history.
oh, wow, that was a great, I stand corrected. It's not going to be worth more than it was worth new. So strike that last comment.
It's worth more than the car of that age would have been in the past.
Yeah,
You
like
had it.
last year, it's worth a couple grand more than it was last year, more than likely.
Like if it was 5 years old in 2018, it's worth more now if it's a 5-year-old car
Yeah,
than a 5-year-old car in 2018.
no doubt. So not more than it was worth when you bought it. I stand corrected. So
Sorry, just want to be clear.
yeah, you're right. But the point is, you could get the cash out of that car and not put it down on anything, and you could lease something or take advantage of one of the subscription services like Volvo's XC40 or the XC60.
They still have those? I heard you mention
$675
that
a
on the
month
phone
or
yesterday. Like, I
$700 a month.
thought
Yeah.
the subscription services had all gone out of business. No?
Well, Volvo's not gone out of business.
Well, no, Volvo's not out of business. But I'm curious about their, I know this is not what this video is about, but I'm curious about their subscription service.
You can get an XC40 right now online only. You
Mhm.
don't need us. You go online. You have to qualify, driving record and credit, because it also includes your insurance. $675 a month.
Yeah.
1,250 miles a month, and they take care of all the maintenance.
Oh.
And if you don't like it after 4 months, you can turn it back in and cancel.
Wow.
So
that's an interesting, we'll see how long it lasts. I think this is a whole other topic, but it's been tried by many other manufacturers and none of them have stayed in business. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I think that pulling cash out of your car, I had a client do this. They pulled 20 grand out of their trade-in. Mm-hmm. I paid for the car and then put them into a lease for like $400 a month. So if you're looking for cars that are around $400 a month, there's still lots of SUV models that you can lease brand new. You're going to have to be flexible and be patient for the colors and the equipment and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But you can still get lots of stuff like that. And so if you're looking to cash in right now, your trade-in is worth more than it was worth last year, probably.
Yeah.
If you've taken care of it, it's been maintained, stuff like that.
So that was a question that we had asked ourselves, is that who is this situation good for?
Yeah.
And there are clients for whom this is a good opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. If you've taken good care of your car and you want to trade it in, it's a good time to do it.
Yeah. SUVs are still worth a lot and people want them. I just think people, they get confused, they're in a loan and they have payments left on that car. Well, the trade-in's worth a lot of money. Let's do it again. Let's just trade it in now. And they get a 100,000-mile car for a 5-year loan. It's like, it's still has its problems. Not a good position to be in.
Right.
Right. So, but if you're looking to upgrade right now and get out of original buying for cash or financing, then leasing's really good right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to explain why it's not a good position to be in?
For what?
For the 100 to cash in your car to buy another car with 100,000 miles on it.
Yeah. So like if you still owe money on your car now and it's getting mileage, 80 to 100,000 miles, and you still owe a couple of years, it's a good time to get out because the car's worth more, right? Mm-hmm. Only if you're going up or you're going into a lease or doing something that's in a car that's under warranty.
And what do you mean by up?
Like up in payment, up spending more money,
right?
So it's bad if you want to get into another car in a similar price range, payment range, and it happens to be 100,000 mile car that you have to finance for a long period of time because that car is going to have maintenance problems before you pay it off.
Right.
I just don't believe you ever pay it off.
Yeah. And we see a lot of people, Ronnie in particular has seen a lot of people with cars. And so that does happen a lot where people buy older cars. You have to deal with the maintenance and the payments at the same time. And then something happens and you need another car and it's not paid off already. That money that you still have to pay off the car, even though you're getting rid of the car. And that's not a good situation.
No, I don't think so. I mean, lots of thought needs to go into it,
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you going to handle the maintenance and the payment? It always looks good today, but over time it gets worse as the car ages.
Right. Cars don't get newer. They don't get into better condition. They're not like people where they can go to the gym and spend some time working out and eating better. It doesn't work like that. Do you want a glass of water?
I'm going to go grab a glass of water.
And I'm going to try to entertain you for the time in between. And let's see, what could I do? This is always a little bit awkward, but we'll see what we can think of. Well, let's see. I wonder if anybody has any questions. Oh, well, I could talk about the taxes. We did have this little corollary in here that somebody mentioned during our meeting yesterday, is that when you are thinking about buying a new car and you look at the prices, don't forget the taxes, because that happens sometimes, that people will come in and they'll be all settled on a car. Maybe the car is $15,000 and then we put it into the calculator and we realize that it's $2,000 in taxes and there's nothing we can do about the taxes. That's just something you're going to have to pay. So be sure to keep in mind that you've also got these taxes that you're going to have to pay and work that into your budget.
8.2%.
8.2%. Yeah.
In Colorado Springs.
That's right. It changed.
Yeah. It went down
a little bit.
5 tenths.
5 tenths or 5.
It was 8.25 and then it changed to 8.2.
8.2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I hope this was helpful. I mean, cars are expensive. We don't think it's going to slow down for a while, but it can't be exponential. I do think it's a bubble.
Yeah, it probably is. That's true. I don't think this would continue. Eventually, the supply will come up to meet the demand, or the demand will go down to meet the supply. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with the electric cars, because that, of course, is a big issue in politics right now, is trying to push. I mean, only 5% of the cars out there are electric, but they want more of them to be electric. So that may be an interesting complicating factor.
Well, thanks for joining us today, guys. If you have questions and you're watching this after we're no longer live, feel free to post a comment and we will get back to you with an answer later. Bonnie
Yes.
has all the answers.
I have all the answers because I read the magazines.
She does. All right, guys. Have a good day.